The Black Mountains, South Wales. A mountain biker approaches a difficult jump at speed. He takes off well, but crash lands.
You're right, stop, stop!
He's not moving.
One of the other guys said he's dead because his head was over 90 degrees turned.
Adventure-loving Nathan is 27 and originally hails from Yorkshire, but a move with work brought him to the valleys of South Wales. The change of scenery also led to a new passion.
I've ridden a mountain bike every now and again when I was younger, and then moving down here and seeing all the mountain biking trails and some of my friends that were doing it, I thought it was a good activity for me to start doing it. I'm an outdoorsy person anyway. I get a little bit of adrenaline from it, and it's quite freeing.
Oliver is one of Nathan's mountain biking buddies.
When we first started, I helped him get his first bike, and he's come a long way. We've kept that friendship strong and enjoy shredding down the trails.
When it comes to biking ability, Nathan trails behind his mate.
Oliver is pretty much semi-professional mountain biker. He's really good, high level of riding. I like to think I can almost keep up with him.
He does try and keep up with me, and sometimes he doesn't think that he's outside of his comfort zone until he does crash.
Nathan and Oliver accept that taking a tumble now and then comes with the sport.
I've had to bandage myself up a few times, yeah.
If you want to be at a good level, you want to push yourself, then I'd expect to come off here and there and invest in a good set of knee pads and a helmet.
And one summer's day riding with friends on what should have been a fun-filled trip, Nathan is glad he's taken those safety precautions. It's a Saturday in August. Oliver and Nathan are at the Black Mountain Cycle Centre along with two other friends, Connor and George. Nathan is recording their adventures on his head camera.
Me and a couple of other lads, we wear GoPros on our helmets. I'd say the main reason is to try and make ourselves look cooler than what we probably are.
They've never visited the bike park before.
We normally just have a quick look at what the track's like, so we'll probably have a couple of rides a little bit more slower, especially if it's somewhere new, get to learn the tracks a bit.
But it's not long before they tackle the tougher trails, egging each other on.
Obviously, because we're all together, it was all, pushing ourselves.
You just constantly trying to compete with each other. It's always a competition, so it pushes you a lot.
It's 1 p.m. and they've been on the go for a few hours when they reach this challenging jump.
So we had a stop, had a look at it. It's actually not that far, it's probably about a 4-foot gap.
The running into the jump was tricky. It's very blind as well, because we can't actually see the landing because it steps down.
And it goes straight into a quite high banking turn.
Nathan goes first, filming his approach. He's doing more than 20 miles an hour, but fears he's not fast enough and pulls out at the last moment.
Nathan stopped, and obviously he wanted to do it, and he was building up to do it. And I said, just keep in a neutral position and just glide over it down the landing.
This time Oliver leads the way and Nathan follows. Connor stands near the obstacle and films.
See Oliver get over it, and I was like, oh, that looks sick. I'm going to smash this, and then don't really remember anything else.
Nathan attacks the jump, takes off well, but lands badly. He hits the hard ground head first. The camera is ripped from his helmet. For a split second, it captures him sprawled on the track. Connor sees the whole thing.
You're right, stop, stop!
His camera records Nathan on the ground in front of his bike before he turns it off and runs to help. Nathan isn't moving. Oliver rushes back.
Straight away, it was he's in a bad way. One of the other guys said he's dead because his head was over 90 degrees turned.
Nathan's detached camera keeps recording. His friends anxiously gather around him, calling out his nickname.
Hey, you mate? Hey.
It was like, is this really happening right now? You know, you're shocked about it.
Connor has paramedic training and examines his friend. He's still breathing, but it's not looking good.
He was unresponsive.
Hey.
It was a good couple of minutes before he started to come back and sort of make any sort of like noise or anything whatsoever.
You're all right. You're all right. You're all right, mate. You're all right.
Nathan's confused groans are picked up by the camera.
You relax. Relax.
It was pretty scary. He was in like a serious way. We didn't know whether to move him because sort of spinal injuries, but we needed to get his airway clear, make sure his airway was clear so he could breathe.
Do you want to run down and get some help?
Yeah.
So he's lost consciousness, all right.
They're hundreds of metres away from the activity centre office.
I rode all the way back down to the bottom. I went and saw the reception at the bike park and I was like, we need an ambulance now.
One of the group, George, warns the other riders the track is blocked. As Nathan begins to come round.
Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, good. Stay still. Stay still. Stay down. All right, he's back now.
When I came round, it was a horrible feeling. I didn't know where I was. I didn't really know who I was with.
You know where you are? You know who I am?
No.
You don't know who I am?
Then the pain kicks in.
I realised that I'm in trouble with my breathing and my collarbone did not feel like it's had its best days.
Oh, mate, yeah. I've got double collarbone.
Have you done it before?
No.
Roger.
I also did have like a big lump on my wrist and I couldn't move it at all.
Connor quickly examines him for any other serious injury.
How's your neck feel? Any pain in your neck?
Once they got a better look at me, they thought, his neck looks all right.
I was worried your neck was broken, bro.
Then, worryingly, Nathan starts coughing.
I didn't think much of my lungs. I think that was probably the worst, but I just thought, it's quite a common thing when blokes come off the bikes to get winded.
But it's getting worse.
I was just like coughing a lot, just coughing up a bit of blood as well.
Blood? He's just starting to spit a bit of blood.
Right.
Yeah, mate, he just smashed his chest hard. He might have a couple of ribs.
With his medical training, Connor's worried Nathan may have broken some ribs, damaging his chest wall and causing a serious lung injury.
Come in your rib. How's that feel? Press.
Minutes later, Oliver returns and tells them an ambulance is on its way.
The whole way up, I'd had it in my mind, like, I do hope that he's, hasn't ever turned for the worst, I hope he is okay. But it was a big sigh of relief that he was sitting up by this point.
But they need to get him off the mountain. Their location means an ambulance will struggle to reach them. Instead, activity centre staff arrive with an all-terrain vehicle to carry him over the rough ground.
He tried going as slow as possible over some bumpy terrain, which was not pleasant at all. Felt all the pain from my collarbone, he was just jolting about.
Nathan decides to attempt the last 100 metres or so on foot.
Walking down to the car park, everyone could see me stumbling down, walking really careful, holding my arm in pain. So obviously I had a lot of eyes looking up at me.
He's met at the bottom by the ambulance crew, who've just arrived.
The paramedics did like a full assessment and, we knew that he was in good hands, so he had a thumbs up.
I think they just put me on some gas and a little bit of pain relief.
We had to call his girlfriend, obviously tell her what's happened and obviously explain to her that none of this was my fault.
It's a 40-minute ambulance journey to the nearest A&E at the Royal Gwent Hospital in Newport. Nathan's diagnosed with concussion, a fractured collarbone, a chipped wrist and a broken rib, and 2 collapsed lungs.
Because I've stopped so quick, the weight of the bottom of my lungs, trying to get to the top of my lungs, collapsing.
Nathan spends 3 nights in hospital, but it takes 3 months to fully recover from his injuries.
I actually felt quite hard done by with my accident, because I see people online like who've had big crashes. I'm just like, how's he just got up and walked away from that? Like, how was I so injured?
But a quick look at the damage his helmet suffered in the crash reveals it could have been a lot worse.
If I did break my neck or had spinal injuries, then yeah, it would have changed my life significantly. So yeah, it was a horrible experience. I'd never want to feel it again, to be fair.
But despite all that, Nathan was keen to get back on his bike.
It's something for me to learn from, that I'm not invincible and that sometimes I need to be a bit more cautious and maybe think twice about some of the features that I'm going to try tackling.
He usually now takes charge in what we ride and what we don't ride now.
And not pay attention to Oliver, I'll tell you that right now.